Hold up, before you do anything else in Resident Evil Requiem, you need to know this. In this video, I won't be revealing any spoilers about this game, just essential tips to help you get better weapons, upgrades, and rare items from minute 1. And just to add, guys, some of these tips are things you can only do once in the game, so if you miss them, you won't have a chance to do them again. And the first tip is this. Make sure to buy everything you can from the item shop here. The reason for this is, once you move on from this section, you actually never return. This place is located in the parlour in the Rhodes Hill Care Centre, which is somewhere you visit in, I would say, the first 30 minutes of the game. You're here for a fair few hours, roughly around 5 in total, and the very best items you can get here are contained in the parlour. Items, again, like I said, you won't have access to once you leave. There are 4 items to buy in the parlour. The upgraded hip pouch, which adds 2 slots to your inventory, that is very important. Steroids, which increase your max health. A stabilizer to increase gun handling and firepower, and an override manual increasing the blood collector's capacity by 50. Now, it's worth getting all of these for the simple fact is that these are unique items. There are only a set number of these throughout the entire game, and these ones here in this cabinet will massively help you out. To buy everything in this cabinet, you will need antique coins, and in total, you will need 17 antique coins. 3 for the pouch, 4 for the steroids, 4 for the stabilizer, and 6 for the override manual. This does sound like a lot, but I'm going to show you where to get coins so you can totally clean out this cabinet. And this is where the next tip comes in. But before we get to that, if you're enjoying the video and want even more, make sure to scan this QR code to visit my Patreon. I would massively appreciate it if you subscribe to that Patreon and help me grow this channel and maybe hire an editor. Thank you very much. One place to get coins is from these scary singers. Each singer drops a coin, and there are 2 singers to encounter in the game. One in the bar room in the east wing, and one in the room located up these winding stairs in the west wing. Now, they are pretty tough, probably one of the toughest enemies you will encounter in this care centre, apart from the cook, and these require a ton of bullets, and they will also completely eat your health if they catch you in their grip. They are worth it though, because you can't afford to miss any single coin in the first section, so make sure to take down these 2 singers. You need every single coin in the care centre to clear out these parlour cabinets, so take them down, and for more coin locations where that came from, loot all of the safes. There are 4 safes. One in the examination room, which is here, and the code is 30 right, 10 left, 50 right. One in the bar and lounge, which the code for is 10 left, 80 right, and 30 left, and that is located right here. Watch out for the 2 zombies and the singer in the bar and lounge. There's one in the waiting room, which is already unlocked by the time you get there, so you can just loot that. You don't need a code, and that's really handy. One in the basement, but that is after the section in Rhodes Hill, so you can't get that without leaving this section. But if you want a full guide to all the safes in Resident Evil, click that link above, because there are more safes throughout the game, and I've got the codes for them all in this video above. So by now you should have enough for 1 or 2 items in the parlour, but to get more coins, make sure to use the lockpicks that you have. Don't hold on to your lockpicks for a later date, just use them when you get them. Also, smash any smashables like crates and antique vases, because these often have coins, and just generally consult your map. The map is actually quite underrated because it does show you every single important item in real time. For instance, it shows you the location of green herbs to restore your health, ammo, blood, even typewriters and storage, so you can store stuff and save your game. And when you collect the things, these things disappear off the map, so it's really handy to just keep track of everything that you need. So to end this section, do not leave the care centre until you get every coin, so you can buy all 4 items from the parlour. Next up, what's in the pantry? Well, for this, you need the pantry key. Early on in the game, you will encounter this door, which is in the kitchen, and when you interact with it, it says you need a key to unlock it. But where is this key? Well, one thing you need to be aware of is that both characters can obtain this key, but with Leon, it's going to be significantly easier. To do so, you have to take down the cook. He's normally walking around the kitchen area, so find him, take him down, and he'll drop the pantry key. Grace will struggle with this, but it is entirely doable. It's just Leon is easier because, you know, he's got the shotgun. There's actually a note hinting at the location of the key that you can find in the game, and it says, "I heard you lost the pantry key again. Mr. Big Shot Chef made me crawl around the filthy floors to find it. I finally found it and gave it back to the chef." So that's what the note says, and that should lead you towards the location of the key. Once you have the key in your possession, open the pantry, and here's what's inside. There's a cupboard, and when you use Leon to crack it open, which only he can do, you get the Connoisseur charm. This charm increases firepower for any gun, so it is really, really useful. Again, this is a Leon only charm, as he's the only one who can open up these cupboards. There's also a 12 times handgun ammo, 2 blood pots, some machine gun ammo, and some scrap. So it's very much worth getting access to the pantry. Here's where to get a load of blood really, really quickly. So this is found in the bath, and that's located in the restroom right here. Be careful when you initially walk in, as there's a zombie cleaner, and they will cause you a bit of aggro. And I don't believe there's any way to silently slip past them because there's not really enough room. So I would just suggest taking out this zombie cleaner and making sure you have an uninterrupted walk to this bath. There's a ton of blood, and right at the end of the stalls you will see this bath, and it's full up with blood. Now this gives you 100 infected blood, which is the most of any single location in the game. Normally you get about 50, even less, like 20 to 30 normally, but this bath has the most blood. Use your extraction device to extract that blood, and there you go, almost fill up your extractor. Now, blood is incredibly important in Requiem because it's how you craft ammo, health, knives, later Molotov cocktails, and even jars of acid. So virtually everything, and the more blood, the better. In fact, I actually suggest not leaving a single blood pot behind. Once you leave the care center, as I have mentioned, you will not return. So don't neglect any blood, whether it's in the form of a pot or from the bodies littered around, or indeed a giant blood-filled bathtub. This is the one item you need to craft above anything else, in my opinion, and that is the hemolytic injector. This device lets you take down zombies from behind instantly without using any ammo. But it's also got one other function that is arguably more important, and that is destroying the corpses of zombies so they don't get up again. Because when they get up, they turn into blister heads, who are about 10 times more ferocious than regular zombies. Blister heads are faster, more aggressive, and have huge health bars, meaning they will chew through all of your bullets and ask for more. You can actually only take them down by shooting them in the head, and that is really difficult on a quickly moving target. So, craft as many hemolytic injectors as you can and use them on corpses before they wake up and turn into blister heads, which is bad news. Hemolytic injectors cost 1 scrap and 60 blood, and I like to make around 4 or 5 and just have those on me at all times. It's arguably more important to make than ammo, since this can one-shot enemies if you're stealthy and eliminate them even before they wake up if you're quick. I don't like to leave any zombies just lying on the floor because chances are they will turn into blister heads. There is no sort of set timer on when they turn into blister heads, so it's really hard to predict when they will. It seems in my experience to be random. That's why I just like to get the jump on them and just take them out when they're corpses just straight away before they even get the chance to turn. If you're playing on normal mode or casual mode, these hemolytic injectors aren't quite as important. Like, you can just flee from blister heads and just run away, but on higher difficulties, these injectors are really, really vital. The next tip, don't leave weapons behind. If you come across a weapon during your playthrough, make room in your inventory for it because you won't be able to pick it up at a later date. An example of this is the W870 police shotgun. This is something you can find in Kendo's gun shop. You come to Kendo's gun shop during the course of the story, which is about 5 hours in, so don't worry about missing it, but when you do find it, take advantage of it, because it's the only chance you get to take this weapon. If you've got no space in your inventory, make space by discarding ammo, getting rid of grenades, discarding scrap, etc. because weapons in this game are one of a kind. The shotgun here has a high rate of fire and generous power, and if you put that charm on it from earlier, you'll take that power to the next level. Another weapon you can find out in the world is the Marksman 1A rifle. It's a semi-automatic rifle with the best range in the entire game, so it zooms in more than any weapon in the game. And you can get it from the Raccoon City portion of Requiem, and this portion only. You can find it right here, all in the traffic and built up cars of the downtown Raccoon City. So all you have to do is go around here and you can find the rifle. Again, if you don't get it at this point, you won't have a chance again, so make sure to grab it. The secret scope. You can find a secret scope for one of your guns, and this scope is the silver finish scope. It fits onto the classic 70 rifle, which is Leon's default rifle, and what it does is enable you to zoom in twice. So the original scope, you can press the left stick in to zoom in once. The silver finish scope lets you press it twice to zoom in further. That's especially useful in the Raccoon City portion of the game due to the extreme distances you engage enemies at, but it's also good in later sections, which I won't spoil. You can swap out attachments at any point by going into your inventory, selecting the weapon, and going to the weapon attachment. You can actually completely remove scopes and sights from your weapons if you prefer. So for instance, my Marksman 1A, I can take off the scope, and this is something I like to do when the environment is more close quarters. When the environments get bigger, get that scope back on and snipe away. But if you're going into an interior, I do like to have no scope so I get a better view of the enemy. With my submachine gun, I can also do the same thing. So you can have it sightless, which looks like this, or you can put on the red dot sight, which is an extra unlockable or an upgrade. I forgot where I got this actually, otherwise I would put it in the video. But you can put on this red dot sight and get even more precise. And a nice little detail I like about this is the game actually goes into first person when you aim down sights while using the red dot sight for more accuracy. Organizing storage. Here's a quick tip to perfectly organize your storage instantly. All you have to do is click the left stick while on the inventory screen. And I'm going to admit this took me way too long to realize I could do, but you can do it. This rearranges your inventory into its most efficient configuration and usually opens up a bunch of space. So here you can see me get a weapon, but I can't fit it in my inventory. All I did is click the left stick here, and now there's enough room in the gun instantly it goes into my inventory. So it's really useful to do that. And you, another thing actually, you can't organize your storage manually in this game, unlike past Resident Evil games. So the game does kind of lose what used to be called Tetris inventory, where you rearranged all of your inventory into blocks like Tetris, but I guess it does speed things up and does the most optimal job possible every single time. You can store items as Grace in these big trunks, but as Leon, this option is, for some reason, is missing. So if you were wondering where the storage boxes are for Leon, there aren't any. This is kind of an odd decision by the devs, because I also kept running into times where I didn't have any inventory space left and just had to drop stuff on the floor, even with that storage organization. But at least with the instant storage organization, you can rearrange your stuff to free up a bit of room. And also you will be able to upgrade your inventory size a few times as Leon throughout the course of the game. So that's always worth doing when you get the chance. Anyway, those were the tips I wish I knew before starting Resident Evil Requiem. I have finished the game already and I'm now on my second playthrough, and I'm using all of these tips that I didn't use the first time around, and I tell you what, I already feel better equipped. So let me know if you have any questions about the game down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more Resident Evil Requiem guides.